each one of these seed heads, the seed matures, the bract opens up, and the seed is exposed. It'll be a brown seed or a mottled seed, and that means that the seed is mature. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's reached the right moisture content, but it does. And again, being indeterminate is going to start to mature from the stalk outwards on each of the different buds or seed heads. And what our recommendation is, or my recommendation is, that probably about 70% of, when 70% of those seeds are outside of the bract and exposed, you're probably in the range of anywhere from 25 to 30% seed moisture, perhaps even a little bit better than that. That's when you want to start to consider harvesting. We do certainly recommend harvest take place anywhere from probably 12% moisture for those that are a little bit more brave, those that are know their combine a little bit better as far as wrapping issues, right up to those people that are maybe the first year growers. They might want to consider harvesting anywhere from 16 to 18% seed moisture. These fibers are all still kind of hanging on to one another through this pectin and lignin. But as this stalk matures and the pectin and lignin dry up, you will get many more of these individual fibers like this start to just automatically come off the plant. And these are the ones that cause issue. They're going to start to wrap on the internal components of your combine, and around bearings, around PTO shafts, on your header, a number of different places. So those are the ones to be concerned about. So if we can put a stalk that is still green through the combine, the seed is mature, it's going to go in like this, it's going to get all mangled up, but most of those fibers are going to stay together. If we wait too long and wait until the stalk is dead ripe, once it gets into the combine, it basically almost explodes in there, I guess you could say, with the cylinder or rotor action, and those fibers, you really start the decortication process. What we're trying to do is maximize our returns and only take as much of the crop in that has the valuable grain part that we want to. So in this case, shorter variety, we've got seed down to even about a foot off the ground here, but we would probably run our header at about this height, leaving much of the fiber in the field, because the more of these long fibers that we take into the combine, the more issues that can be a concern of. So in an instance like this, where our seed set is really just starting up in here, this is a cultivar or variety that the harvest would probably be almost to the top of what this crop is already. And so you have, this would be actually quite either a good fiber crop alone, or if you wanted to take the grain and fiber, you would have significant fiber left over in the field to be able to bale and take off after the fact. We want to provide our consumers with basically the raw product. So it comes off your field, goes into the bin. From the bin, it gets either dehulled or pressed for oil, and then onto the consumer plate. So there isn't any excessive heat, chemicals, or anything else that will kill other microorganisms or pathogens that might be on the seed itself. What we're concerned about is moisture, temperature, and time is what causes these issues with the grain quality. So we're harvesting at a high moisture. We control that to a certain degree, but we want to harvest all day and not be pulling straw out of our combine all day. So we harvest at a higher moisture. We give up that. The temperature, we can be harvesting anywhere from 25 degrees Celsius down to 10 degrees Celsius, or up to 30 plus degrees Celsius, depending on weather. So we've got those two variables that we're somewhat control of, but not really. The one that we are in control of is time. And so what we need to do is have that grain sitting in that moist condition for the least amount of time possible. Pathogens and mycotoxins can start to generate on that seed coat and within the bract material and everything else in that hopper of your combine, and then from that into the grain truck, and then into your bin. So it's very important to get some airflow to start the drying process down. So we recommend that no longer than about 4 hours from harvest that you get it on some aeration. So definitely don't harvest and leave the grain in the truck overnight and then try and unload in the morning. That's a recipe for disaster. Even cleaning your combine out properly, clean out all the corners in the evenings. The bin that you're putting into, make sure that it's clean, make sure that it's rodent proof, uh, doesn't have an opening for birds. The detections are quite limited and small, so it just needs to be a mindset that you really need to take care of that crop, because it is of great value, and that's what you're working towards.